Peace and love. It's a beautiful day. Peace and love. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day because I woke up. I woke up. So every day that I wake up, it's a beautiful day because I woke up on the end quote right side of the dirt. I'm doing this video this day because there's been something on my mind watching the events of not only America but the world. In Europe, in South America. And I'm like, and I remember back in the day when I was quite rebellious, as rebellious as this middle class woman could be. I remember hearing the talk about the Illuminati and the New World Order. And, I didn't really pay it that much attention because my spiritual life was more important to me, even though I was a rebel at a particular time and point where I wore a t-shirt every day when I was working at a particular establishment. My voice was on my t-shirt. I remember one t-shirt, boy, talk about radical. It said, if you kill my dog, I'll kill your dog and burn your kennel too. And it had these two, black revolutionaries with their, I guess, AK whatevers. They had guns, big guns. And I remember riding the subway and standing in front of a certain group of people so that they could see that. And I wish I had like a picture of every single t-shirt that I had, because I had lots of t-shirts with lots of messages on them. And one of my favorite t-shirts, though, was with Malcolm X. And he said, think, it isn't illegal yet. But because of the events of the day, there's something that I've been wanting to share, but I've been really very, very quiet. Okay? I've been very quiet, and I've been more in doing my own research and doing my prayer with my husband and with others, like the Reverend Ike Ministry, prayer time on Mondays. I don't make it every Monday, but, when I'm awake, I call them. And my prayer is for humanity in the world. And I give thanks for peace on earth. Right now, there's a lot of chaos. And I know that out of chaos comes order. But there's a lot of chaos. And there's a lot of misinformation that's going around. But this has been on my mind because of what I have seen regarding parties. And I will name them: the Democrats and the Republicans. And during the Reconstruction era, right after slavery, there were blacks in Congress and senators, judges, sheriffs, and things were going quite well. They were going quite well. And they were Republicans because they went to the party that, end quote, freed the slaves. The 13th and 14th Amendment. And the 15th, actually. But there was a plan. And when I look and I see what's happening, when I heard Maxine Waters say what she said about you push back, you harass, the cabinet members, I was like, what happened to when we go low, when they go low, we go high? What happened to the Christian concept? You know, like what would Jesus do? I mean, but anyway, this is what I really want to talk about. There was a plan called the Mississippi Plan, and I'll never forget. Like when I first heard about this, I didn't hear the name, the Mississippi Plan. I had just heard "Vote This Way or Die," and but I'm gonna like read this to you from Wikipedia. Okay, the Mississippi Plan of 1875 was developed by conservative white Democrats as part of the white insurgency during the Reconstruction era in the southern United States. It was devised by the Democratic Party in that state to overthrow the Republican Party in Mississippi by means of organized threats of violence and suppression or the purchase of the black vote. Democrats wanted to regain political control of the legislature and the governor's office. Their success in doing so led to similar plans being adopted by white Democrats in Southern Carolina, and other majority black states. To end election violence and ensure that freed men were excluded from politics, the Democrat dominated state legislature passed a new constitution in 1890, which effectively disenfranchised and disarmed most blacks by erecting barriers to voter registration and firearms ownership. Disenfranchisement was enforced through terrorist violence and fraud, and most black people stopped trying to register or vote. They did not regain the power to vote until the late 1960s, after the Federal Voting Rights Act of 1965 was passed to authorize federal oversight of state practices and to protect citizens' rights to vote. Let me just scroll down a little bit more here to the history. Okay. There was okay. Well, if you want to read more, you can go to look it up, the Mississippi Plan. Now, the reason why that was on my mind to share is because you had two groups of people that were on two different sides of the political agenda. One group was really upset, that black folks during that time, during Reconstruction, were progressing. Their schools were progressing, they were progressing. And I don't want to just limit this to black people, because there were, during that time period also, there were white Republicans who were harassed. Children in schools, the children of Republicans in schools were harassed. Wives going to their afternoon teas with their friends. Houses were surrounded, by the Democrats' strong arm, which at that time was the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan. And people were killed. And I had to shake my head, because I said, this is like the Mississippi Plan all over again. But instead of it being the Ku Klux Klan, it's Antifa. They may not have killed anybody yet. Hopefully they won't, God willing. But the violence, they may not have hoods on, but they have these handkerchiefs across their faces so you can't see them. And it's violent energy. It's violent energy towards people who think differently. And when I, I just have to shake my head because I really thought that we were past that, and I thought things had improved. I mean, there are a number of black businesses out here. There are a number of black millionaires out here, multimillionaires. I'm just going to black folks right now. There's been progress made. Yeah, there's other stuff that goes on, but there's been progress. Progress has been made, And when I think about that new world order and I think about the globalist agenda, and I'm like, this is crazy. Yeah, this is crazy. Taking away people's freedom of speech because they think differently. Because someone thinks differently from you, right or wrong, you want to take away not you per se, but that group that doesn't want the conservative voice to speak. I don't want to hear what you have to say. Nah, 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 nah. Yell, 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 burn stuff up. I mean, come on, for real? Freedom of speech, freedom of religion. Yeah, and I have, as Kamala Harris said, I have that book in my pocket. Okay? And it's a good book to have in your pocket. Give you some history. Anyway, but I research a lot. I don't necessarily watch CNN because I don't have a TV. Thank God, Goddess, thank the universe that we don't own a television set. But I can look online and I can see what I want to see. Okay, and I can decipher a new world order trying to take over and trying to make people, to me, from what I see, trying to make people slaves, trying to make people think in one way. The movie 1984, it's like if you do not think this way, you will be tortured, until you think this way. Because you have to think like everybody else. That doesn't make any sense to me. Why do I have to think like you? I mean, there are people out here who are vegans, and they're vegetarians, they're meat eaters. A vegan and a vegetarian may not agree with the meat eater, and a meat eater may not agree with the vegetarian or a vegan, but yet and still they both have the right to be and eat what they want. Unless, of course, some Illuminati New World Order energy comes in and says you can no longer eat meat. We're banning meat. But anyway. I could say it's scary. I could. I don't like using that word. But I see shades of the Mississippi Plan. And it's not a pretty picture at all. And just go ahead and do your own research. Critical thinking is important. Who, what, where, when, why, how. Critical thinking, ask questions, research. Don't just take everything that CNN and MSNBC and some of the other newspapers that hate everything that Donald J. Trump is doing. Everything. They see no good whatsoever. And then there are those that see some good in regards to what he's done. Listen, You may not like his voice, like there's certain people's voices I don't like. So I don't want to hear them because I don't like their voice. But at least I do the research to find out, is what this over here said, is it true? Okay? Is it true and correct? Is this actually what's happening? Or am I just going to believe what I want to believe because I don't like somebody? Because people have done that in their own personal life. You may have had a friend, okay, and somebody else was another friend, and maybe those two friends broke up friendship, and then one of them comes back to you and starts telling you all kinds of stuff about this friend who you've had for ages, and you decide that you want to believe the person that has come to you with the lies about someone who you were friends with, and you do no research. You don't check out the facts. We have to check out what is actually really going on. If you can't see what's going on, then I don't know what to say. I remember, the Moors saying, ignorance of the law is no excuse. You've got the internet. As long as Google right now is kind of fair in what you can search for, and you can find conservative and you can find Democrat. Okay, you can find information that you need. Right now, there's still kind of balance there. But please don't just take everything at face value. Good God, this is not the time. But that Mississippi plan is very interesting regarding these times and regarding the call for violence against a particular group of people because this is what you've been told to do instead of thinking for yourself. Just be aware. Be very, very, very aware. Keep your spirit high. Pray a lot. And don't just pray for peace. Pray for understanding. Peace and love and understanding. Give thanks for that. Don't try to tear down shit. Oh, I cursed. you know, that's all I'm going to say on that, because I'm going to come back with another one dealing with socialism. I truly am. Okay, I had to share that. I really did. I could not keep quiet any longer in regards to how I'm looking at and seeing what's going on. And trust me, even though I have my diet of that, I have my diet of Reverend Ike and my other metaphysical stuff, okay, because I have to. Because otherwise I'd be, what? Oh, God. I'm glad I am the age I am. I really am. But anyway, I love you. Because I love the God in you. I love that divine spark in you. I love that divine energy in you. All right? In the meantime, you have an awesome day. But I will be back with another video at another time dealing with socialism. Mwah.